Your mindset is the root of your reality. If you can change your mindset, then you can change your life. Welcome, Master Your Vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. The mindset reboot for those ready for some calibration to their vibration. I'm your host, King Yes Indeed, your guide for this vibrational journey, here to help you conquer any mental blocks, fine-tune your inner frequency, and navigate to your higher self. If you're ready to make your mind bright so you can vibe right, then you're in the right place. Let the journey begin. Yes, indeed. So here we are again starting. All right. Welcome to Master Your Mindset, the 7 dimensions of mindset. And today, and once again, I have my lovely, beautiful, talented, wonderful wife, Miss Randiesia Fletcher.
What are you about to call me, baby? I'm listening to you.
That's a little slip of the tongue. But anyway, I got you. You're here. We're together. And what we're going to be talking about today is art, using art as medicine. So my wife, she's an artist. She's an art curator. She's a master teacher. She's a Marine, and she's dealt with a lot of different things in her life as far as trauma and trying to recover from those things. And art has been pivotal and very important in her process. And so today, she's going to allow me to ask her some questions. She's going to share her stories with us today. Hopefully, it can help someone out there who might be suffering, who might need some help. Hopefully it will help them understand that you can use art as medicine. So welcome, honey. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Randiesia Fletcher, and I am a cultural arts scholar and curator. I'm a master teaching artist, as Herman said. I was born and grew up in Los Angeles, California. At an early age, I experienced homelessness because both of my parents were experiencing substance use disorder. At an early age also, someone gave me some paint and told me to start painting. And so it was the painting that helped me create images that shaped a better reality for me. So all of this destruction and trauma and pain and issues that were going on, I was painting what I hoped life would look like. Kind of like, it was like watching the Cosby Show for me. Like so many people, we watched the Cosby Show and we saw this successful Black family, and they had their rooms, and parents had jobs, they had a house, they had food, they had orange juice in the refrigerator. I thought that was amazing to see orange juice in the refrigerator. And I always imagined what life would look like to have stability, and watching the Cosby Show gave that to me. And so painting gave me a sense of stability because I painted what I wanted to see rather than what I was seeing behind me. And I started writing to correspond with the painting, and sometimes the painting corresponded with the writing. It was a yin and a yang, it was a balance. Both of them fed each other. The reciprocity was amazing. And so I developed the mantra of living two portraits, and living two portraits because of the visual artworks and the written artworks.
So you talked about the art going with the words going with the art. Mm-hmm. And so many times people who are dealing with grief may not be able to find the words. They may not have a high skill level at art, and so they may be discouraged from that. And so how can you help people utilize art to find their words that are dealing with grief? What setting does that look like?
Well, the setting, it looks like it doesn't have a specific setting. It's just what it is, and it could be in any place. It could be here with me and you talking. I love sitting outside and being in nature and taking my shoes off and walking on the ground and grounding myself. Walking in the dirt and grounding myself, I should say. I love touching the water. I don't always like being in group settings because it may exacerbate my trauma. And so sometimes I have to go get my therapy at the VA, and the setting may not always be conducive to who I am as a person because I still have fear. And so we have to be cognizant of what people are experiencing in order to create a safe space for them. I remember a little one that I was dealing with for a while. She was the sweetest little thing. My goodness, she'd come and she'd sit in my lap, but I noticed that she was having some troubles at school, and I couldn't understand. Like, they can't be talking about this little one, right? They cannot be talking about her. But then, when the principal, who was one of my friends, said, "Yeah, this little one is off the chain," and she had threw a brick at a teacher, and they showed me where she threw the brick, and I brought her to the house to set her at the table with a couple other children, and I said, "Draw what's going on." And things got worse after one of her family members was killed by the police, and he was a young person. I think he was 17. And so she drew a picture of a building, like an apartment building with windows, and the building was on fire, and the police officer was on one of the higher floors in the window yelling help, and he was burning in the fire. But that setting for her was perfect for her to get out what was inside of her rather than for her to keep it inside. It gave me an opportunity to talk about what she was feeling and not necessarily condemn her picture, but to guide her into understanding ways to deal with what was going on. I didn't want to tell her how to feel. I just wanted her to see a variety of routes that she could choose in order to overcome what was going on.
And so I know many people who suffer from trauma or grief or that require some form of therapy, they need a safe space. What safe space does art provide to those individuals?
A safe space because I'm an ambivert, so a lot of times I work internally. And sometimes the safe space is in my head because no one can take those things away. But also the safe space can be taking what's in my head and putting it onto paper. So it depends on the person. Some people need to be able to protect something inside, and then the art gives them an opportunity to write a letter to their victimizer and then burn it. If they just want to put a dot on the paper, it gave the ability for me to articulate it from here to the paper. It gives the person the opportunity to think and to consider their choices for how to articulate themselves. And so having that paper, it may not get anything on it, but it gave me the opportunity to ponder. And that's artistic in itself, to imagine. It gives imagination. So if it's inside of here or onto the paper, or if we're blowing sand, or just whatever, art is so versatile and multi-dimensional. Like, I'm creating an art project in the river coming up soon, and I'll be filling glasses with sand. Just the kinesthetic movement or the spatial opportunity gives credence to art and healing. So that space is, it's not just one space. It's infinite possibilities.
And so, speaking of spaces for art, we are going to talk about one specific space, and it's a space that you hold every second Tuesday of the month. It's called Painterpretations. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily about healing, but more about learning and maybe even having one look into the mirror. Mm-hmm. Talk to our listeners, our viewers, about every second Tuesday Painterpretations and why it was created and the importance of it.
Okay, those are a lot of words. So why it was created was it came right at the beginning of COVID, actually, right? So it's that October of 2019, at the preface of COVID. And the goal was to get people who do not traditionally take art classes, because it's not valued, it's too expensive, and we got better things to be doing than to be doing some art. And that's a cultural thing sometimes. Like, it doesn't produce us any money, it's just a waste of our time. But I wanted to give us a time for expression. We have the right to breathe and express ourselves. And so I created this forum as a social, cultural platform for us to, I present the class with a cultural perspective, issue, an artist. We listen to some sounds and music, we watch a video, we look at some artwork, we do a writing piece and to see how we connect to it or don't connect to it, etc. And then we draw something or paint something, and so we interpret what we wrote and saw. Yes. This class it teaches us to be introspective. It does give us the opportunity to write something down on the back of an envelope, or write it down on our phone and computer or something like that. It just gives us permission to write. It gives us permission to draw something. You don't have to have any art supplies. You know how I feel about that. It's just whatever supplies you have, a pencil, a pen, some old makeup, some dirt from the ground, put it on a piece of paper and smudge it, some old incense or something, you just smudge it. But it just gives us the opportunity to use the multiple intelligences, like Howard Gardner talked about, like if we're to be kinesthetic, to be logical and linguistic, and spatial and rhythmic. And so it gives us the opportunity to use our senses for just those few moments. It allows us to breathe. It is an intergenerational, yes, it is an art class per se, but I think it's more of a community class where we're able to have conversations with each other and talk about something that, like we talked about, what did we talk about? We talk about Juneteenth, and we talk about Anansi and the spider, and is it good to manipulate people and why? And it's garnered international attention. We have people from Spain and Ghana and Puerto Rico and Washington State. Everywhere. So it's an international class that I'm very proud of, and I definitely enjoy teaching it. And I'm always able to find new topics to talk about. And for this year, for 2026, we're talking about African folklore, fables, and myths.
Okay.
And so, we go into X-Men, we go into the spider fables and creation stories, and we do some research. And there are things that a lot of the participants are not even familiar with. And my oldest person in the class, my oldest student is 94 years old, and my youngest has been around 4 or 5 years old. So it's been definitely a great intergenerational activity and course.
Yeah, learning on every level. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about Juneteenth a little bit. We talked about African folklore. And I really want to touch on something that covers both of those. So you recently had an art show that talked about Black dandyism. Mm-hmm. And then last year for Juneteenth, there was this special Juneteenth event here in Tucson at the Drawing Studio. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we're talking about art as medicine and we're talking about healing, but healing is not always about recovering or trying to deal with trauma or grief. Healing can be celebrating. Healing can be dancing. Healing can be happy and fun. Mm-hmm. So how do you take healing in perspective when you are curating events like Black Dandyism and Juneteenth? What is the significance of celebrating in order to sort of heal in a good way, like healing from dancing, healing from being happy, healing from celebration? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, the scriptures say, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And one thing I am very proud of is being a research professional. I have certifications in anthropology, and knowing that I can go and research a topic within the communities and bring that research to fruition through art and language and music and celebration, because it gives us the opportunity to know. If we don't know anything, then how do we move forward? We could just be living in, what is that sunken place? I love talking about
that movie.
Yeah,
with the movie
Get Out. Yeah, I love that. That sunken place, because we don't know anything. We just sit here and don't know. But what if I give you the opportunity to dress up and wear your art and put art on the walls to talk about those times, and give you an opportunity to peek into the past and look into the future and see where we've been and where we're going to. And this is a celebration to know that for Juneteenth, it's the year of the Jubilee, and we became free at this time. And that's a literal and a figurative speaking. I like the thought of emancipate your mind from mental slavery. Mm-hmm. None but ourselves can, and only ourselves, we can only free ourselves.
Bob Marley.
No, Marcus Garvey said it, and then Bob
Marley made it into a song.
Absolutely. Yes. But the fact that yes, we can debate all day about us being free or oppressed, but freedom takes place in our minds first, and so that emancipation from our that mental slavery is critical. And so bringing these topics up and inviting everybody, not just people with Black skin, to these events is important, because education is for all of us, history is for all of us, and art is for all of us. And I make these events free because I believe that art is for all of us too, so that we can all learn together and not fall by the wayside with divisive tactics. We all have to learn it and bring each other together.
Mm-hmm. Continuing along the art celebration and understanding why art is important. Talk a little bit about why art is important to your family specifically, and how that can bring about some healing as it relates to generational learning, generational wealth, and that teaching piece that we talk about.
Well, I remember reading maybe in the 5th grade, Langston Hughes's A Raisin in the Sun, and Lorraine Hansberry wrote the play. And then August Wilson wrote a play called Fences. Whew. And I was able to see Fences on stage, and it talks about how we see all these dreams in our eyes. We have all these dreams, and they were specifically talking about Black men and wanting to do more than just the basic, and I'm forced to go out there to this job right here that I'm not happy with, but I have a dream, and I want to be able to go do it, but just doing it the wrong way because we don't have we don't have the skills presented to us, and sometimes we don't have the ideas of emotional intelligence in front of us where we can just achieve this like so easily. I see those dreams in your eyes and my son's eyes and my daughter's eyes, and I've always wanted to make a way for myself, but we have to do it strategically, and we have to teach how to do it. Art is what I know. Research is what I know. Words is what I know, and that's the degrees that I have are in education, in writing, and anthropology, and I thought it was so ridiculous. The stupid is the word that I use. I'm like, this is so stupid. I got all these degrees and they don't even match each other. But as I was painting and writing for writing proposals, and they just came so easily for me because I've been trained in that, and then my ability to teach and to teach on an international level is because of what I've learned. I value education, but I don't necessarily tell my kids that they need to go and seek a college education. I say, yes, this is good. This is a good opportunity. And our son just finished graduating with an associate's degree, and he's back in school to get his bachelor's degree. And then the other one decided to go to trade school, and then now he's back in school working on a bachelor's degree. But I recognize that they have these dreams that may not get there far or fast if they do it the traditional way that we learned to. You just go and you go to school, and then you get into the workforce, and then you make your little something $45 an hour, and are you happy? Is that what you want to do? And I know this is probably a different philosophy of what we're teaching, what we've been taught. That it doesn't matter if you're happy, you just go make some money. But that's what prompts trauma. And sometimes, I'm not saying all the time.
It can't.
Yeah, because it's like you forced to do something, and you're doing it not because you want to do it, because someone told you that this is the only way that you can do it. I met this doctor, oh my gosh, when I was at this residency that I did in Sedona, and I sat next to a doctor. I'm in an art residency, and she's a doctor, and she's like, I just had to quit cold turkey. I said, you're not doing no consulting on the side? She's like, no, I just can't for my own sanity. I'm not saying that this is the way that everybody has to do it.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But that was a part of her healing. And she had to get out of what she was doing and come to something creative, something artistic. Yeah.
So she's building bronze sculptures now. I'm like, that's amazing. And so art is what I can push. Education is what I can push. I believe it's a means to an end, in order to get what you're looking for, especially if that's the quality that you bring with you. And this could go for anything. If doctors are in the family and that's what brings joy to those doctors in the family, Sure. But if I was pushing one of them and say, oh, you're about to be a painter, I don't think any of our young ones are true painters per se. Well, printmakers, yes, and jewelry makers, and our little one, she paints too, but the joy behind it may not be as I feel behind painting.
You talk about people leaving their profession. Doctor went to be an artist. You left teaching to really pursue art and art curating. But those degrees weren't lost. You had some healing through writing. And your most recent book published is called The Virgins of Her. Talk to us about that book and how it helped you heal and the purpose behind it.
I remember the first book that I published. After I published it, I went through like a season of depression because you get all of it out and you put it on paper and you're not ready to read it. This being the third book, I think I was angry at one point where I'm like, you know what, I can't hate someone. I have to understand why. And when I put that in my own thought process to say, why is this person responding to life this way? And I'm analyzing the text messages that she sent to me, and then I was able to pinpoint which person, which personality was talking to me through each of these text messages. And I was able to draw all these images of the different versions of her. And
so what's the book about?
The book is about the versions of her. It's about my mother and how she has all these characters within herself. And you would think that it was like, I'm not a medical professional. My pain therapist says that she may have some borderline personality disorder, but it's undiagnosed. And I've had to grow up with all of these people inside of her. And so I was reared by like 10 different beings per se.
Right.
And I can tell you which one is which based off of how she sends a text message to me. Out of all and then I created, I painted pictures to match each of the personalities.
So that's the words with the images.
Words and images, right. And the one that stood out to me the most was the one that I painted of her as a 2 or 3 year old. And she's holding a little doll in her hands. And I call her so innocent. She didn't choose to be subjected to the life that she was given. She was molested, started at age 6, and raped throughout her elementary and formative years. And for her to treat me and have all these people communicating with me is because what was given to her. And I can't fault her for that. And that was a big piece of my healing, was to draw that picture of her at 2 or 3 years old and know that she was just a child and she had no choice. And so it's best for me to give her grace and to continue to love her through all of this. And this is not everybody's path to say, you know what, let me love the person who's abused me.
Yeah.
She was abused. She abused me. But for me, I didn't continue with the cycle of abuse. I recognized it, learned from the past, did the research, learned from the past, and understood how I could move forward. And then how can I be a better person towards her, considering her own trauma and injury.
Right. So art teaching you how to, possibly deal with her is huge. And so, again, just art in all its forms, art, painting, drawing, cooking, making jewelry, listening to music, making music, singing, dancing. All of these art forms can potentially be some form of medicine
Oh yeah.
to just about anybody.
Oh yeah. Used to love to do worship dance. I used to love doing that. That was freeing because you use your whole body to express what you're feeling and you get it out. There's no one size that fits all. And so when I think of art, when I think of writing, I think of art. When I think of dancing and music, I think of art. It's all one to me. And it's just how you decide to articulate.
Gotcha. Yeah. So as we wrap up, we just want to allow people, if they want to connect with you, if they want to see your art, if they want to have you curate some art, give the people your contact information, your Instagram, your YouTube, your website, your email, anything that you want people to have. Go ahead and share that with the people.
The easiest way to find me is on Instagram or my email. So Instagram at living2portraits with the number 2, living2portraits. And then you can email me always at living2portraits@gmail.com.
Okay, and then the YouTube channel?
It'll be up soon.
Okay, so that'll come later.
Yeah, right. It'll be up in a few days.
Well, honey, thank you for joining me on your second episode of being on Master Your Mindset, the 7 Dimensions of Mindset. Kings, thank you all as well. And before we go, we're going to leave you with some reflection prompts and some daily affirmations as always. All right. Reflection prompt number 1. If my mood had a color, what color would it be and why? Now, I know we've heard people talk about, I'm seeing red because they're angry. But also people say that red is the color of love. One of the studies I've learned about red is it does have those dual opposite meanings. It can represent love and hate. It can represent angry and happy. It can represent good and evil. It can represent a lot of things that are polar opposites. Mm-hmm. So if your mood had a color, what color would it be and why? And write it down and reflect on that. So the next time you feel a certain way, you can identify it. You can identify the why. Oh, I'm feeling red today. Or I'm feeling yellow today. Oh, I'm feeling green today. And you can identify all of those things. Reflection prompt number 2. What do I need more of today? Do you need more truth? Do you need more respect? Do you need more love? Do you need more healing? Do you need more peace? Do you need more free time? What is it that you need more of today that you were not getting yesterday? And try to find a way to incorporate that into your healing process.
Choose one word.
Reflection prompt number 3. Choose one word that you want to live by and illustrate it. Draw it out. Make it a picture.
I like it.
So if it's trust, what does trust look like in an image if you want to be trusting? If you want to be peaceful, what does being peaceful look like to you? If you want to be humble, what does being humble look like to you? If you want to be generous, what does generous look like to you? Choose one word, illustrate it, and live by that this particular week. All right. Next, we got some daily affirmations for you. I am here. I am breathing. And that is enough for right now. That is called being present. You are here. You are breathing. And that is all that you need right now. Sometimes just breathing in. And I think in yoga practice or meditation practice, they call it box breathing. Breathe in for a certain count, hold it for a certain count, breathe out for another count, hold it for a certain count, and round you go, right? I am here, I am breathing, and that is enough for right now. Yes, indeed. Daily affirmation number 2, I am allowed to evolve without any expectations. You can change. And you can change just because it was time for you to change. You were supposed to change. You can change because you desire to change. You don't have to give, or you don't have to have an expectation on your evolution. It may just be time for you, right? You don't grow because you expect to grow 6 feet. You don't do that, right? You don't only eat because you expect to eat a 5-course meal. You don't need a certain expectation to grow. You are just going to evolve, and you are going to grow because that is naturally what is happening. Daily affirmation number 3. I don't need to be good at art in order to be able to heal from art. And this is part of what this whole process is about. And we talked about that just a little bit. Your healing is not contingent upon your talent at art. It is not. It is more so about what is being expressed through what you can get out. Right? If you scribble something on a page, that is a form of expression. If you can cut some things out and glue them on a page, that's a form of expression. If you pour paint out on a canvas, that is a form of expression. If you throw certain things at a board and it just sticks to the board, that is a form of expression. If you dance, if you sing, if you cook, if you make jewelry, if you sew clothes, all of those are an expression of your artistic talent, and it can be therapeutic. It can give you some level of healing. You do not need to be good at art in order to heal from art. Yes, indeed. Kings, my final thought for today is this. As we close, first and foremost, I want to thank my wife. Thank you, honey, for joining me and for joining us here today on this episode of Master Your Mindset. Healing is not just a thing that has a goal. Healing is a constant thing. You are always going through it. There is usually going to be something new that you may need to heal from. But healing is also not a race. It does not have a time limit to it. And the process and the path and the journey to healing is not going to be the same for everyone. Some people may take longer. Some people may not be ready. Some people might be afraid. Some people might be eager to get to healing. Some people might not want to heal, but may not have the support system. Some people may have the support system, but might not want to heal. It can be all of those things.
I like to think of it as being present and progressive. Like
present progressive.
Yeah. So ing, anything with ing
There
means that it's present and progressive. So healing is not like healed. It happened already, but it's here and it's ongoing. So present and progressive.
Yeah, it's continuous. And so on your journey of healing, if you've tried other things and they haven't worked, I would strongly encourage you to try art as medicine. Yes, indeed. Kings, thank you all. Randiesia, thank you for joining me on this episode of Master Your Mindset. And before you get on out of here, I need you to do one thing, and you know what it is. I need you to check your vibe, because when your mind is bright, then we can vibe right.
Vibing right.
Yes, indeed. People, if this podcast has shifted your mindset or moved you to change your vibe, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, or someone that you believe can vibe in a new way. Leave me a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at KingYesIndeed. Also, if you are interested in vibe, coaching, consultation, please email me at kingyesindeed@gmail.com. Let's find more personally tailored approach to your vibe. Yeah, I give one-on-one coaching. I can do group coaching through mind or vibe or mindset coaching classes. Until next time, people, check your vibe. Mind bright, vibe right. Yes, indeed.